Welcome to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Gray Productions. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Robbie. And today we'll be talking about the 1987 comedy adventure fantasy, The Princess Bride, based off the book by William Goldman, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Kari Ells,
Elvis.
Mandy Patinkin, Elvis, Mandy Patinkin, Robin Wright, Billy Crystal, and Andre the Giant.
My man.
Alongside me is the cuz Ben. How we feeling? How we doing?
Feeling good. Feeling smarter than Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. They're all morons compared to me.
That is fucking true. And alongside us, playing in his second flu game of the season, one of our co-hosts and our good friend Ryan. How we feeling?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I'm feeling okay. Excited for the show, so it's giving me a little burst of energy. But if I just keel over, just finish the show and whatever, just throw my corpse in a dumpster.
Please, we can never finish without you.
Oh,
No,
thank
never.
you, thank you.
Never.
Who's going to put out the recording?
That's true. Maybe I'll see if my wife can do it. So yeah, like Robbie said, this is Let the Boys Watch, and we are talking about The Princess Bride, a lot of people's favorite nostalgia movie, favorite sick day movie, just a good, feel good fantasy adventure that a lot of us grew up with, and both Benny and Robbie have never seen before. So should be a lot of good conversation. Looking forward to everyone's plum ratings and what they thought about the movie as a whole. But first, we got two, not one, but two emails this week. And if you'd like to be among the special people that have sent us something, please do so. LTBW podcast at gmail.com, or I should say, or follow us on Instagram. Let the Boys Watch Pod. Check out all the cool posts that we throw up there, and send us a DM. Tell us a movie you want to watch, or tell us what we missed or what we said great. Make us feel good. So, anything to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, and also tell us why you're not voting. How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Why don't you do that as well?
Do you
Show
have
your
the
face. Show your face.
Do you have the list? Maybe we should one of our segments should be who didn't vote this week.
Name and shame.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right.
I don't have the list. I don't have the list yet, but
All right.
I got names,
Coming.
I got faces, and I got places. So watch your back.
Well, watch out for that. So, should we get into those emails, or what do you think? Who wants to start?
Rob, why don't
I
you
can go
start us
first
off?
since
Yeah.
I'll go first since Brian's came in first. The first email comes from my Bill, my brother-in-law, Brian, last name redacted, friend of the pod. He titled the subject of his email "Lost Email." So backstory: Brian was waiting for us to read his email last week, and he wound up, texting me and Ryan, I think. Sorry, Benny, and
Okay.
said that he forgot that he forgot to send the email and it got lost in the shuffle. So he resent it, and as always, fantastically written. So here we go.
I mean, this man is so busy slaving over this dishwasher that he doesn't have the strength to hit send on an email. So Brian, I know, fantastic father, fantastic job redacted, but I'm gonna take it easy a little bit, man. We need you at full strength here.
How many shingles can that man fucking nail down on his roof before he forgets to send an email? Hey guys, I apologize, but this email was originally sent, or so I thought it was, after the Pulp Fiction episode. I modified a little bit to keep things more current. I wanted to comment quickly on Pulp Fiction. In a movie full of great dialogue and excellent line deliveries, there's always been one line that stuck with me and makes me laugh every time I hear it in the movie. It is not very significant when it comes to the overall movie, but I just love the delivery. It's a line spoken by the wolf. It's a scene when Vincent is complaining to the wolf and says, "A please would be nice." The wolf gives a great little monologue, and at the end of it, he says, "So pretty please, with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car." His tone of voice and the cadence when delivering that line is just perfect. He doesn't say the line angrily or yell it. He just says it so calmly. Love it. Yeah, I think Benny and Ryan, you both talked about that as one of your favorite scenes in the movie, and I think that's a great scene. I think Harvey Keitel fucking nails that entire little monologue he does. Ryan continues. Also, you guys mentioned some great directors. I also wanted to throw in Dennis Villanueva. I loved every movie that I saw from him. He directed Prisoners, Sicario, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, and the new Dune movies. Yeah, Brian's always trying to get me to watch Blade Runner 2049, and I say, yeah, definitely. And then that never pops up on the screen.
I haven't heard of any of those movies except Dune and Blade Runner.
You never seen Sicario? Sicario's great.
I never even heard of it until this email.
Arrival's good as well. I like Arrival. I would recommend all those movies if anyone hasn't seen him. He's done more that people speak highly of than I have not seen. His movies are always thought-provoking, intense, and beautifully shot. Sorry, that's a burp.
Burp number one.
There it is. The cinematography is always off the charts and keeps you engaged even when not much is happening in a movie. Some of the movies are a slow burn, but I appreciate tension building in movies, and I don't think there is a need for constant action. I agree. I'll touch briefly on Fight Club. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I thought it was a must-watch for Robbie since he is a big fan of David Fincher. I remember me and other people, possibly even Robbie, not being that eager to see it because of the misleading title. When I first watched it, I was so glad that it wasn't just about a fight club. Overall, a really good movie, but not my favorite movie that features Brad Pitt and bare knuckle fighting. That honor would have to go to Snatch, directed by Guy Ritchie, another solid director. Snatch is fantastic. Man, you saw Snatch, Ryan? I know you did.
I saw Snatch, but I didn't understand a single word of it, so I'm going to count that as I haven't seen it.
Periwinkle Blue.
Big subtitles movie. Brad Pitt was great in that movie as a gypsy fighter. I know Ryan has seen it, but if Robbie or Benny have not, it's a great watch. It's somewhat similar to Pulp Fiction in terms of having a great cast, excellent dialogue, comedy, action, and violence. Also similar to Pulp Fiction, it has multiple storylines, sometimes told non-linear, that all connect before the end of the movie. I highly recommend it. That's all I got. Hopefully this email reaches you this time. I love the pod and keep up the good work. P.S. I'm hoping you guys circle back to Saving Private Ryan for Benny's sake. Yeah, I hope fucking so. Please, Benny needs to Benny needs to put that Sonos on full blast.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tip the scales on that one of these weeks. But we got to do. I already forgot the name of the director that Ryan was talking about. We got to do a week with maybe his movies.
With Guy Ritchie?
No, the one before that. The Sicario.
Oh, Dennis Villeneuve. Yeah, we could do that. Either one.
Because I've never even heard of that guy.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Sicario is very, very good.
Agree. And one thing I wanted to comment on Brian's email was he liked the line from the wolf. There's one line from a movie that Brian and I talked about years and years ago, and I always think about it all the time. It was from Grand Budapest Hotel. Did you guys see that movie?
No.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I forget the actor's name, but it's the evil brother, and he just says, "What's the meaning of this shit?" And Brian and I laughed about it for like an entire evening, and I still think about him every time I watch that movie.
Love that.
What's the meaning of this shit?
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. Thank God you found your email again. Like Benny said, keep up the good work on the dishwasher. You do love to clean. We appreciate your constant support and the fantastic emails that you write, and always appreciate, your insight on movies and everything else. So we love you and appreciate you.
So our next email comes from a friend of the pod, Kenny. He was the director of our Unofficial Intelligence 100th episode, so we thank him for that. He was fantastic there. And we've been talking a bunch on Instagram because I know he's a big movie head, a cinephile, if you will, and he likes poking fun at all the movies I haven't seen. This is a little bit of a long email, but buckle up. We're going to get through it. It's a great email. So here we go. The title is You Are Not Your Podcast. You are not the number of subscribers or likes or comments or shares you have. You are not your fucking khakis.
Thank God.
Yo, the pod is great. I love what you guys are doing. I love the format, the conversations, references, everything. It had been a while since I listened last, almost famous about 3 weeks ago. So I jumped back in today to pass some time at work and ended up enjoying the Pulp Fiction episode so much I kept listening through the Fight Club episode. Thank you for that, Kenny. I'm going to give you a twofer in this email and touch on both. Sorry if it gets too long. Do with it what you'd like. Pulp Fiction, you guys were on point with pretty much everything. My only comments would be to whoever had Pulp Fiction rated lower than Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained on their list of Tarantino films. You really do have to watch some of these movies in the context of when they came out. And we talked about that a little bit, with the rapid use of the N-bomb in Pulp Fiction. Both Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs are precursors to later Quentin Tarantino films like Inglourious and Django. They created the cinematic language that was perfected in those films. Everything from Tarantino's dialogue and scene writing styles to the editing and scoring. I also couldn't believe all the hate Jimmy got as a character. That's the point. From all the N-bombs he casually drops to his attitude towards Jules and Vince, the guy is a fucking shithead, and Tarantino nailed the role. Robbie, comments quickly?
Hey, Kenny, you're a dork. You're a dork.
Your clothes, motherfucker.
That whole scene with the coffee sets this up perfectly. Knock it off, Jules. I don't need you to tell me how good my coffee is. I'm the one who buys it. Vince and Jules should have beat the shit out of him then and there. I also think Quentin Tarantino casting himself in a cameo as an unbearable prick is an homage to Scorsese's scene in Taxi Driver. Oof. Talk about cringy shit.
Very cringy.
On a tangent, I also got to agree with Ryan on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Didn't like it at first, but on some subsequent viewings, it became one of my most favorite Tarantino films. Would love to hear more about what you guys think about that one. Although my personal favorite Quentin Tarantino is Jackie Brown. It's his most understated and least stylized film, relying solely on the story and performances. And that was his first film, right?
No, Reservoir Dogs was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jackie Brown, I think, was after Pulp Fiction, I think.
Okay. I do got to watch that one.
It's a good one. De Niro and the boys.
Yeah. So thank you for your thoughts on Tarantino. Moving on to Fight Club. So Kenny says, Fight Club, I can write for hours about Fight Club, but instead I'm going to try to keep it brief because it's 11:42 p.m. and you guys inspired me to pop in the DVD. Best DVD packaging ever, by the way, and give it my first rewatch since 2015. First off, shout out to Aya for opening that episode up with a great email that led to some awesome discussions. And also shout out to Robbie for having some crazy insights I'd never thought of before. I used to think the anti-establishment themes were so punk rock when I was a kid. I didn't realize I didn't realize I was watching the Andrew Tate / Ben Shapiro training video. Bummer. I hope most viewers realize there's way more to it than fuck the establishment. There is a balance in Fight Club between disrupting the system to bring about change for the better, and oops, they were domestic terrorists all along. Viewers that put movies like this up on a pedestal for all the wrong reasons are part of the toxic fan base. See American History X for the most toxic fan base that see layered and complex films in dangerous singular ways. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. Hard to believe this film was such a commercial failure at its release that the executive who greenlit it lost his job. But isn't that what Tyler would have wanted anyway? I didn't know that. Fight Club was kind of a flop.
Yeah, in the box office, it didn't do great.
I don't remember if I saw it in the theaters or when it came out on DVD. Probably DVD.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Kenny goes on. I would personally have rated Fight Club higher than Pulp Fiction, even though I do enjoy Pulp Fiction more, simply because Fight Club keeps you thinking and keeps the dialogue going years later. Whereas a film like Pulp Fiction exists simply to entertain. Both great in their own right. A couple of recommendations for some other films that I think you guys might enjoy, or at least keep the combos going. Cool Hand Luke, classic, near perfect film. Gattaca, a personal favorite. After Hours or King of Comedy, two of the weirder Scorsese films. Hard Eight, the first P.T. Anderson film. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to listen to the next ep. Kenny. Well, Kenny, we have a Martin Scorsese week coming up soon, so keep an eye out on that because we might throw one of these on the list.
Have any of you guys seen any of those movies that he listed there?
Robbie?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I saw parts of
Pots?
Gattaca. Pots.
Say Pats of Gattaca.
I saw parts of Gattaca in a like biology class that I was in.
That's weird.
What's Gattaca?
They showed it to me too, but I've seen
Yeah.
it otherwise. It's a
But I
good
don't-
movie.
But I don't think we watched the whole thing. I think we just watched like the sciencey parts. Was there some like fucking in that movie or something that they cut out?
Maybe I don't remember, but it's definitely there's parts that are probably not appropriate for like school. I don't
The
remember
the other one I remember watching in that class was Lorenzo's Oil.
that. Okay.
Did you ever see that?
No, what is that?
It's about I forget what he has. I think he has like MS or muscular dystrophy, and the
Okay.
father like develops this serum that he gives the son that like starts to help him out.
I thought it was something totally different.
No, that's Lorenzo's body oil.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's the one I watched then.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
what'd you guys-
all those films he mentioned are good. If we watch Cool and Luke, we can have a hard boiled egg eating contest. So that would be fun.
Nice.
And then we could do a Paul Thomas Anderson week as well. He did a bunch of movies that I think would be good, like Boogie Nights and Punch Drunk Love and stuff like that. So we'll work some of those in.
There will be blood.
We should too. Maybe one of these movies, if we do them, we got to get Kenny on because
Oh, for sure.
Kenny, I love his insights on this stuff, and he definitely run circles around us. But it'd be fun to have him on.
Speak for yourself, pal.
That's true. That's true. He told me a really funny story about Chuck Palahniuk. Is that how you pronounce it?
Palahniuk.
Palahniuk. He told me a really funny story about him. I'm not going to tell it here. I'll let him tell it when he comes on. But
Okay.
you're in for a treat with that one.
I'm looking like a personal story.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, I'm looking forward to that.
It's cool.
All right, awesome.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kenny, and thank you so much, Brian. And if you are one of the fans out there thinking to yourself, "Hey, I'd love it if the Let the Boys Watch boys personally acknowledged me," well, here's your chance. Send us an email at ltbwpodcast@gmail.com, and you too could be getting thanks and praise like Benny and Kenny. I mean, Brian and Kenny. But Benny, you can get praise too.
I mean, I need it after that because that was a long email for me to read.
Did good.
I just want to say right now, I'm dripping sweat. I had crazy anxiety that whole time.
No, you did good.
Hey, good job, Robbie.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I just want to say shout out
yeah.
to Kenny. I don't think you're a dork. I think you're a great dude, and appreciate the email. And also, the guy was fucking a maestro behind the scenes for the 100th episode. Talented dude, and yeah, hopefully he can get on the pod and talk about movies. Thank you.
And
again,
lest I forget, he edited the Hot Wing Challenge video that we did for Unofficial
nice.
Intelligence as well. So
the
big
one
friend
that,
of the pod. The pods.
the one that you didn't win. That one.
Famously lost. Famously.
Check it out on Unofficial Intelligence YouTube. It's pretty good. Some girl wipes the floor with two dudes. So what do you think? Should we get into this movie?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm very excited because The Princess Bride has been a movie that I go back to all the time when I'm feeling a little down, need a little pick me up. Maybe I'm sick. or just it's a rainy day and I know it's something both me and my wife will enjoy. But upon rewatching it this weekend, when I was doing my usual getting anxious about Benny and or Robbie watching it, I thought to myself, I hope they like this because a lot of this is pretty corny, but like, for me in such a good way. So I'd love to hear what you guys thought. Like, what did you think before watching this movie? Like, had you even heard of it? Like, what was your thoughts going into it? Robbie, you want to start since Benny just talked for 10 minutes?
Yeah, I don't want to let Benny cool down for a bit.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Wait, dude,
You see me chug that Fiji?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Oh, that's two.
I don't know what's going on. I didn't burp all day, seriously, and I come on here and I'm just fucking gas X. Um, yeah, but, I don't know. I'm not a big fantasy adventure guy, Robinson Crusoe kind of guy. But going into it, I've heard of the movie. I knew it was like kind of like fantasy, old timey, like medieval time story. I didn't know much about it. I knew Andre the Giant was in it because I saw bits and pieces when I watched his documentary on HBO. So I knew that he was in the movie. I didn't really know anybody else that was kind of in the movie, but yeah, I was I don't know. I went into it not expecting much, not expecting to like it, not really my genre, my scene. So yeah, heard of it, but I never really grew up on it.
Gotcha. What about you, Benny?
So I probably ran in nerdier circles than Robbie did in high school. So this is a movie that got brought up a few times. I didn't really know too much about it though, just that people loved it and it was one of their favorite movies. I knew some of the quotes from the film. I was expecting it to be a little bit more serious than it was, even though I thought it was, I thought it was going to be like a comedy, but I didn't expect it to be as comedic as it was. So I had high hopes just because of the amount of people that enjoy it. And the one person that I live with said she thought it was overrated. So maybe my
What?
expectations were a little bit lower. Yeah.
Bomba
Might have to have her
clots.
have her write an email next week.
Tell Aya I'm coming for her.
Just make sure you get better first, please.
Oh yeah, no, I know. This isn't going to be biological warfare. I'll come with fists. No, no diseases. Well, so then, I mean, my overall impressions of the movie is similar to what I already said. Like, it's just to me, growing up on it, it is a nostalgia bomb. Like, it's one of those movies that I don't even remember when I first watched it. Probably pretty early. So it's just one of those that, again, like I said, it's makes me feel good, makes me feel happy, quoting the lines. It's definitely like it's a little bit slow at first. Like, and that's what I was thinking when I was watching. I was like, all right, they're probably watching this and they're like, what the hell what is this? But then once it gets going with like the satire and the comedy and like where it doesn't take itself too so seriously, it's just, I mean, it's just fun. It's good. I don't know. What were your guys like overall impressions then?
So I like the way it started. I like
Yeah.
the whole, yeah, I like that it didn't go right into, you weren't right into, the medieval setting. I liked that it was based around Fred Savage and is
And
that
Columbo.
Fred or Ben? Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
please
Fred.
don't even get me started on the god.
Just one more thing.
Oh, the goat, Peter Falk. As soon as I saw him, I was like, this movie, we're starting off at a 5.
Yeah.
It can only go up from here.
Are you a
I was
Columbo
happy.
guy?
Oh, big Columbo guy.
Really?
Big
I love
Columbo
it.
guy. Love Columbo. So to see him, and he was almost playing maybe that's just the Peter Falk. He just plays the version of himself and everything.
Could be.
So I liked how it started off. That my overall impressions were, I liked that it was. I don't know. I guess when it came out, was it like kind of a parody movie? Because that's what I mean. Like all these years
Sort
later,
of.
to me, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. So I kind of watched it through that mindset. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought for a movie from 1987, it really held up. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some movies we watch from the 80s that just don't hold up at all. And I think that probably has something to do with the fact that it's set so far back in the past. You're not going to notice like outdated technology. Obviously, with the graphics and stuff like that, you will. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was pretty well paced. There's one scene I might have taken out. We'll, obviously get to that later. But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it.
Nice. And recommendation if you love Peter Falk, the movie Made with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. He plays a gangster in that movie.
Oh my god.
And he's fucking amazing in it.
Where's my Apple TV
Get
remote?
your hands off the fucking money. Robbie, what did you think overall?
Well, first off, I thought that was Paulie from the Rocky movies the entire time. So I was going to say something, but I didn't even know it was Columbo. Shout out to the god. Rest in peace, Columbo. Yeah, I thought I enjoyed it. I mean, there was one person that annoyed the absolute shit out of me in this entire movie, and thank God he wasn't in it for the entire movie because I probably would have turned it off. But
if you say Vicini, our friendship is over.
Well,
let's hold it. Let's hold it. Hold it. We have a whole section.
We got a whole segment dedicated to this.
No, it was right in my wheelhouse. You give me anything that's about an hour and 30, hour 40, I'm locked in. I love movies like that because you can't slow down. It's just a well-paced movie in that time range for me. So I enjoyed that. I mean, Wesley and the Princess Bride. I mean, I was going back and forth with my plums because those two the entire time, Jesus, those two were two good-looking people.
But lighten up the screen.
Lighten up the screen. But I really enjoyed this movie. I did. Did I laugh as much as I expected to? No. But there were characters in this movie that really, that I really loved and I thought were really well, acted and written. There were some funny moments, of course, but I love Rob Reiner and I love these type of movies that are just, well shot and fast paced and doesn't really give me a lot of time to kind of just get bored or check my phone. I really didn't check my phone until maybe an hour plus into it. And I mean, anything with my boy Fred Savage in it, it's a fucking must watch for me. So, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie a lot.
Good. I love it. I'm very happy to hear both of those. Now, should we give it a plum score?
My plums are ready.
Can I just say something real quick?
Please, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but I'm so thankful for this podcast because I look forward to watching, because I would never watch any of these fucking movies except for Pulp Fiction on repeat for the past 15, 20 years. So I get excited to watch these movies. I mean, my bank account's killing me with all these fucking Apple TV $4.99 charges. But
every movie we watch isn't streaming anywhere.
I know.
What the fuck?
Because they're good movies and classic movies, so nobody has the rights to them.
To be fair, I already owned this movie, so it didn't matter to me. But I know what you're saying. I think I bought Fight Club and one of the other ones. Whatever.
Most famous I bought.
But yeah, I mean, I know it's a shtick, but every week you saying like, shit, we got to watch another one of these fucking movies. But I know you're excited.
No, I am. I'm excited.
I wouldn't steer you wrong.
Sometimes I just get a little upset that my pick doesn't win.
Yeah,
well, that's the competitor in me.
I know. Which was your pick this week?
Clueless.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it didn't win, but I'm also not surprised at the same time.
Yeah, I think Benny would have enjoyed that too. It was a great movie.
We should put that on another vote, I think.
I enjoyed too because, like Robbie said, I just don't go out of my way to watch movies. I just never have. I've talked about that a few times, but it's also nice to like have something to do on a Sunday night that's not watching the Mets get their dick kicked in for the fucking 7th time that week. So it's and I'm sure I appreciates it too. It's a couple hours we get to spend, you know, doing something different.
Yeah. Nice. So who wants to give their plum score first?
You, since it's your favorite, one of your nostalgia movies and your sick day movie, please, I
Yeah.
want to hear your opinion.
So I thought about this for a while, and I think my first thought was correct, and I kept going back to it. I'm going to give this an 8.9. And the main reason for that again is it like better than some of the movies I've rated lower, like as a film? No, but I love it. I don't love it enough to put it in the nines, but it's so close. I really love this film. It's not, one of the classics, but it deserves high praise. There's a reason why people talk about it still. How many years later? There's a reason why they during COVID they did a home movie with a bunch of actors. I don't know if you guys saw that or knew that, but during the pandemic, a bunch of actors did like a, I don't know, retelling of it or whatever you want to call it, of this. So there's a reason why people still love it to this day. So that's why I went 8.9. It's the highest I can give before getting into those like cinematic classic territories of the Shawshanks and Pulp Fictions and such like that. So 8.9 for me.
All right. Robbie, what about you?
Um, so as far as comedies go, I mean, I guess my comedy scale, and I took it for like a 1987 movie and an 80s movie. So, I didn't bring it into like the 2020s, I guess. But for comedy purposes, I have to be LOL and 80% of the time. I didn't find myself laughing that much at this movie, but I thought it was, I thought it was a nice little semi-action movie. And like I said previously, I thought it was, very well paced and I enjoyed it and I wasn't bored. So that was a good thing. Um, the IMDb score, I think, is an 8. So for me, my plum rating would be an 8.3.
Oh wow. All right. So
Higher than I thought, to be perfectly honest, but appropriate.
see now
Thank you.
I'm second guessing my rating here now, but I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it.
Be true to
I thought
yourself, Benny.
I am. I thought it was really good. Like I enjoyed it a lot, but as far as like rating it, I struggled with this one. I feel like if I saw it more when I was younger, I probably would have went higher. Um, but I said I wasn't going to try to compare it to other films that weren't in the same genre and base my rating off of that. But I can't help it after watching like the bangers we've watched the past few weeks with Pulp Fiction and Fight Club and stuff like that. So I think my rating sounds low, but I did enjoy it, but I ended up going with 7.8 on this one. Like I just thought it was a solid movie. I thought it was very good. Like I said, I had a lot of fun watching it, but I'm not ready to go up into like 8s and 9s for this one, especially after the heat we've been watching lately.
No, I think that's appropriate. Like I get, everyone's out of 10 scale is sliding all the time, and there's different factors that go into it. And like I said, like this shouldn't be in the same conversation cinematically as some of the other movies that we've watched, but like for staying power and how much I love it, like it deserves that high rating for me.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like I understand why people love this movie so much, and I understand the praise that it gets. So, like I said, I mean, I just really enjoyed it.
Good. Well, I'm super happy that you guys enjoyed it. Like, you know, I just I can't wait, but I also am scared of the day when it's like a movie that I like and one of you or both of you like, why do you like this shit? I mean, a little bit with Fifth Element, not as much, but one day it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen, and I look forward to that day.
Me too. It's gonna be a fun
It's gonna
podcast.
be great. And it's funny, like every like this week we had 3 movies up. I love all those movies, and most of the movies that we put up, I love a lot of them. Like it's so far, we've really had like pick of the litter, like great films to choose from. It's been fun.
Yeah. And
So
I think too, like a lot of this is just trying to get people's attention by doing movies that they really love. You know, fingers crossed, we at least get somewhat of a decent following where we can kind of start diving into some like weird stuff or like obscure things that, I feel like we would have a high deviation of scores.
yeah, I agree. I think we have to do, these classics and films that people love to start, and then we can get weird, I don't know, eventually. Um, so I think we should do favorite character first because I want to put even a little more suspense onto Robbie's least favorite character. So who wants to start with favorite character?
I mean, I want to, but
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to be known as Juan Pierre stealing bases left and right here. So all right, I will, and I'll go for it, and I'm gonna go chalk, and I'm gonna say Mandy Patinkin as Inigo
You
Montoya.
fucker.
Don't no,
Fucking
you could have
shit,
said
man.
I want to go first. I don't want to see these reactions out of you two. Um, just such a fun character, man. Like he's was bummed in that middle part of the movie where he's just not involved. And I missed him. I love the whole scene with them, the duel. I love him at the end when he finally gets his revenge. Spoiler alert. He was just awesome. And he reminded me of Serial Pharrell.
Yeah, a
Ryan.
little
Yeah.
bit. Agree.
So like I kind of attached him to Inigo Montoya, and I just really love that character. Suspect Spanish accent. I was getting a little Italian thrown in there every once in a while, but he was fun. And I understand. I love all those quotes that he has in the movie that are out in the zeitgeist, and I understand why now.
Robbie, you want to go?
No, please, you go.
I don't know. There's so many to pick from. Um, can I do Ani Mentions with favorite characters? I don't know if we've done that before.
You can, yeah, absolutely.
All right, good. So I'm gonna pick. I'm also gonna pick Chalk and say, Wesley, the Dread Pirate Roberts, farm boy. Um, I I wanted to pick so many other characters, but I'm gonna go with him just because he's the main protagonist. He saves the day. It's you're devastated when he dies, or he's mostly dead, not all the way dead. I even wanted to pick maybe his savior. But I'll let Robbie go before I really start talking about all the other characters I love because I don't want to steal his thunder. But yeah, Wesley, just amazing character. He has eyes like the sea after a storm. Just amazing. So, Robbie, who is your favorite character?
Well, whatever happened? I mean, to Carrie, whatever his name. I mean, he stunk in
Elwes.
fucking Liar Liar, and he stunk in Saw. He just annoyed me. But he was so good in this movie.
He was good in Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
I didn't see that.
Oh, what a film. That's a
Do you,
Mel Brooks.
do you feel like when you say he stunk in Liar Liar, is it because you watched it when you were young and you just hated him?
Yeah.
I just hated the way he delivered his "Here comes the claw" lines. Like I hated those.
Love that though.
But that's the point. Yeah. He's a dork.
I was thinking about that the whole time. I wanted him to do that when he went up to the gate and be like, "You're scared of the claw."
Yeah, I guess I got to rewatch Liar Liar again as a young adult as I am, young adult. So I got to see. Maybe I'll change my tune.
No, he's good, and he's in a ton of stuff. He was in a couple episodes of Stranger Things, Marvelous Miss Maisel, a couple of movies. He's still
Episode of
working.
Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Was he in Stranger Things?
he was. He was the mayor.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and he's got he's got some stuff. Yeah, he's been doing stuff, but I know what you're saying. Like as a kid, you were like, who is this fucking lame-o? Like
Yeah.
trying to steal Jim Carrey's wife and kid away from him.
Yeah, he reminded me of like Judge Reinhold in the Santa Claus. I was like, get this guy off my screen.
My
That
weenie
stinks.
whistle.
That guy stinks.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, I was gonna go with, Long Island Zone, but he has such a small part that I really can't put him as my, favorite character. I'll put him as an Ani Mensch. But I'll go, my favorite character is the Princess Bride.
Oh,
Nice.
Robin Wright. I think that I mean, obviously an amazing actress, Jenny from Forrest Gump and whatever her name is from House of Cards and many other movies that she's in. But I mean, when she first came on the screen, I mean, as the kids say, hubba hubba. I didn't know her beauty was beautiful, but I mean, I just love the way she played this character. It wasn't like your normal like princess, like, oh, oh shucks, I'm just a little princess gal. I thought she was really, every scene she was in, I thought she was great. I thought she played the princess part just as, and fantastic. I think she's an amazing actress, like I said. And she was very believable. She wasn't timid, she wasn't weak. She stuck up, stuck up for herself and, got the job done. So I'm gonna go with the Princess Bride as my favorite character.
Queen of Refuse. Boo. Couple Ani mentions because, like I said, I love so many characters. Like you said, Miracle Max, Billy Crystal, love him. That
Billy?
line when he says, except for an MLT, when the mutton is really lean. And of course, Fezzik, Andre the Giant, the best. And I know what's coming, but I love Vicini. He's so annoying and so good.
Me too. So he's great in this movie.
And even
Why?
like
He's good.
Yes, Wallace Shawn. But even like Humperdinck and the Six-Fingered Man, like everyone is great in this movie. It's hard. It was hard for me to pick a favorite, so I went with, again, like we say, chalk. But there was a lot of good choices here. So, saying that, least favorite character, Robbie, please let us know who that is.
You want me to go? Sure.
Yeah, snake draft, baby.
My least favorite character sucked the life out of me. Really made me question my own life. I didn't know if I was going to go on any longer. I don't know if 110 had any traffic because I would have jumped onto it. Every time this fucking guy came on the screen, he just annoyed the absolute shit out of me. And that is none other than Vicini. He sucks. He stunk.
I knew it. I knew it watching the movie.
What do you say? Indubitably? What was his stupid catchphrase?
Inconceivable.
Oh, he's so annoying. He just sucked the life out of me. I wanted to be anywhere in the world other than watching him in the scene. I was so glad when he died. I mean, I don't know what's it about me, but like every character I hate, I just celebrate when they're dead. So that was probably my favorite part of the movie when he was no longer on the screen. He stinks. His hairline stinks. I forgot what other movies he was in, but even what any other movies
Clueless.
he's in, he was good in Clueless.
Yeah.
But he just played an annoying fuck in this movie, and I hate annoying fucks. So that's why.
The point.
Yeah, I understand that's the point, but Vicini, dial it down a bit, bro. We get it. So Vicini, take a hike. I hate you. I never want to see you again, and thank God I don't have to.
I love when those actors that are like weirdos and they know they look weird and they know they sound weird, like he's got that little lisp going on, but I love when they just lean into it and like get a million acting roles because of it, because they know who they are and where they fit into a movie.
Right.
But I loved him. I thought he was funny. I thought annoying and grating as fuck, but like Ryan said, that was the point. But yeah, that scene where it's him and Wesley and they have the duel of wits, I just love the whole thing with him talking through the poison.
Yeah.
And
Truly
I
a
just
dizzying intellect.
yeah.
Wait till I
And
get going.
yeah. And
Where
when
was
he's
I?
like, you know,
Australia.
yeah. And just right before he dies, he's like, and you never get into whatever he says, a battle for death with a Sicilian, and just does that maniacal laugh and just keels over.
Yeah.
I love it.
When
But I
death is on
understand.
the line.
Yes. Uh,
Yeah, never getting a land war in Russia, but
Asia.
slightly less well known. Asia, yeah, you're right. Slightly less well known is never going to a battle with a Sicilian when death is on the line. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that is a little bit of a weird part, the way he's like laughing and then just goes,
My favorite part of the movie.
ah. I love that scene. That might be my favorite scene, but we'll talk about that later. Oh, so it's my turn, least favorite character. Shit.
Mhm.
Oh, as much as I mean, I love like so many of these characters, but if I have to pick, I'm gonna go with Humperdinck, just
I
because
think.
if anyone, I mean, the name is amazing. Humperdinck. Um, if anyone is annoying, it's him to me. He's like, belongs at the country club with the cadence of his speech and like, oh, I have my wedding to plan, my wife to murder, and my enemies to frame for it. Like, just the way he says things is just so annoying. But yeah, it's hard to pick a least favorite for me in this movie, but I will go with him just so I can say that I made a pick. Benny?
So I have very strong feelings about mine as well, as much as Robbie did with Vicini
Really?
or Vizzini. Yeah. And it's the priest that marries Humperdinck. Like,
Marriage is why we are here today.
I get it. I get the point of it, and it's funny in some ways, but it was just so annoying, and
Man and wife.
it just bothered me.
No way.
It cut into my favorite scene of Andre the Giant becoming Kane. I wish I had just a full scene of that.
There will be no survivors.
So I don't know. I hated the accent. I hated him as a character, and I don't like him.
Too good. I thought he was funny, but I get what you guys are saying for sure.
It's like it reminded me of like you would see that in a Monty Python movie. And
that's kind of what I thought of, like a Mel Brooks movie or something.
Yeah, and like sometimes they do things in like 80s movies where they just throw it in there because they think it's a funny idea, and I'm sure they do it now too, but it just felt, I don't know, like the whole accent thing was just shoehorned in for me, it felt like.
Yeah, it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That actor was not in a ton of things, but a good amount of things. But I think he was more of like a writer and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, good choices. I mean, like I said, personally, hard to pick, but most of you guys went with the annoying people. I guess. Well, I also maybe could have picked Fred Savage personally, because he was like giving fucking Columbo shit. Like, shut the fuck up. Let him read you the book.
I will say that Peter Falk handled it well. He always had a witty retort, and I like when he was like, "Oh, I told you that they weren't going to get married." He's like, "Yeah, you're very smart. Shut up."
You're very smart. I think you're a little too worked up now. Maybe we should read this. No.
Yeah.
Is this a kissing book? Shut up, kid. So yeah, from favorite characters and least favorite characters, what about, what we've never done? Let's do least favorite scene first, because we've never, I don't think, switched that around. So who wants to start?
I can go.
Yeah, it's going to be with Vicini, I'm sure.
My least favorite scene is a multitude of scenes.
Everything.
Every scene that Vicini was in. He ruined every single scene for me. The boat scene he ruined.
No.
The death scene he ruined.
No.
the climbing up the rock wall with Andre and the princess and Montoya over there. He just ruined every scene. He ruined every scene for me. I don't care what anybody says. Hate me all you want. Give me the vitriol. I want the smoke. I hate you, Vicini, and every scene you're in. So my least favorite scenes were every scene he was in.
I love it. I love the passion.
The passion.
I'm very passionate for my hate for terrible actors.
That's crazy. He's not a terrible actor.
Well, in this movie, in my opinion, in my humble opinion,
Fair, and you're allowed to have your opinion.
Just like I think Humperdinck is, I like Humperdinck, but you don't. So we have varying opinions.
It's true. It's
which
true.
I respect.
Am I not respecting your opinion?
No, you are, but go fuck yourself. Respectfully speaking.
Respectfully. Well, my least favorite scene of The Princess Bride was anything that Robbie had to say about Vicini.
I could hear him in my head the whole time. Every time Vicini was on the screen, I was like, he's gonna rip
this guy apart. Listen right now.
Did you guys really think that?
What? I did, yeah, 100%. I knew that he was going to be his least favorite.
Think that. I thought you would have liked him, like as a good, like I feel like you like a good heel.
I do, but too much over the top for me.
Is it the voice that did it?
No, because I liked him in Clueless, but I guess just too much over the top. The constant really gets me going. Really chaps the old ass.
Am I going mad?
I'm waiting.
So you hear those, princess? Those are the shrieking heels. Oh my god. Well, my actual least favorite scene. I think it's gonna be when Wesley gets hooked up to the machine, and gets his soul sucked out of him. I mean, I don't want to see my boy go out like that, but also B, like, it was just like you could tell the way they filmed it was one of those, like, they sped up the film. I always, even since I was a kid, I always fucking hated when they do that. And I mean, I understand what they're doing, but like, or like, when sometimes movies will do it, like, I guess in reverse and then go forward. So you just can always tell something's weird. So when he was on the thing shaking and he was like doing this, it just, you could tell they sped it up a little or filmed it slowly and then tried to normalize it. I don't know how they do that or what they're doing there, but I always notice it every time. So that bothered me.
I agree. My least favorite scene was the fire swamp scene.
Oh, you don't like that?
It was the first time I felt like the movie dragged a little bit for me. Like, I like that we got the story about how he became the Dread Pirate. But the quicksand thing and the rodent of unusual size thing, the fight was a little ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
like, it is what it is. It's a fantasy movie, so you got to have something like that in there. But for something that was like, it just felt inconsequential for me. Like, they got through the fire swamp, but then Humperdinck was there anyway. It was used to tell the story of the Dread Pirate thing, like I said, but I felt like they could have found another way to do that. And where I said that the movie felt like it didn't show its age that much, that's the one part of the movie that I feel like it did show its age a little bit. So yeah, so I just thought that I wish they found another way to kind of tell that pirate story.
Do you think that's where go ahead, Robbie? Sorry.
No, go.
I was just going to say, do you think that that's where the unfounded fear of quicksand came from everyone in our generation?
Probably.
That and like the Bermuda Triangle. Like, I just thought I was going to get sucked into something. Sorry, Robbie, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Stupid question, but how did the horses get up onto the hill? Was there like another back entrance in the forest? Is that what, they took a back entrance?
Oh, how they got up there to investigate the fight scene?
Yeah, like,
great question.
That's a good question.
Because I'm like, seriously, I'm like, how the fuck these guys had to climb a 9 million foot rope, but then they got horses?
I think
they go the back way,
and they were only an hour behind, even though they were sailing all night.
Actually, I think they do say something. Your favorite character says something about um this way is faster. Like he definitely mentioned something about this way. So maybe there
Yeah.
was another way around, but that took longer. But to be fair, they did show up pretty quickly. So I don't know. I actually thought that, and they never really mentioned it, but I was pretty sure that Humperdinck like hired
Hard.
Massini to do
Yeah.
this. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
it
did.
makes sense.
They did. But I guess the plan was to follow them all along because, he sends back the horse with the piece of cloth on it to make them think that, so the whole thing, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense.
I don't know. But yeah, Robbie, your concerns are warranted.
Thank you. Anybody out there that knows, please send us an email.
Yeah.
Rob
Yeah,
Reiner.
Rob
Rob
Reiner,
Reiner.
please. I know you're listening.
Yes, yes. The what is
Meathead.
what did he say in Wolf of Wall Street? Oh yes, yes. The appetizers, something like that. They'd cure cancer. That I know that's Jonah Hill. But
T
he
and
was
E. T and E.
but he was great in that.
Yeah, very good. Is it wait, Benny, do you have to do your least favorite scene? No, you already did it. So we have to do favorite scenes. So you start with the snake draft.
Don't.
Can I defer?
Well, I don't know.
All right, I won't
I
defer.
mean,
Then. I won't defer.
no,
No.
defer, so you don't steal mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Robbie, you can go because you clearly have a scene that if gets stolen, you'll be upset. So Robbie, you go, and then Benny, you can go after him.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll throw a temper tantrum.
You'll throw a knife at my stomach.
Yes. Well, there you go. There you go. That's it. That's my favorite scene.
Son
There
of
it
a
is.
bitch.
You son of a bitch. I can't even fucking say my favorite scene. Well, that was my favorite scene. The when what's his name?
Inigo.
Inigo Montoya gets his revenge on the six-handed man.
Count
I love
Ronengren.
Yeah, Count Ronengren, aka Christopher Guest.
Oh, the best. You ever see any
yeah.
Christopher Guest movies?
I've been trying to get my hands on Best in Show, but I haven't seen that movie.
That's a good
I
one.
heard it's a good one.
Yeah.
That's all I know about him.
Nah, he did it. Yeah, I mean, he did a bunch of good movies. Maybe we'll do a Christopher Guest week.
And then have a special guest, Christopher Guest, on the podcast.
Please. I know
got
you
so many
listen.
guests lined up.
I'll talk to him. Anyway, yeah, that was my favorite scene. I thought it was great. I really love Mandy Patinkin in that scene where he looks like he's down and out, and then he gets back up and he says his famous line over and over again, and then they're fighting and they're just stabbing each other. I loved it. My favorite part of the entire movie is when we finally get back to whatever his fucking name. I can't even say it. Inigo Montoya, and we finally see him, down and out in Beverly Hills. But then he finally, I just, like Benny said, I just loved him as a character. He made the movie for me. But I did enjoy it. I love a nice revenge story, and that entire scene where he's getting ready to fight him, and then the six-fingered man just turns around and runs away, and he's chasing him.
Yeah, that is funny.
That is great. And then he gets stabbed in the knife thrown at him in the gut, but he finally gets his revenge. And I just love, like I just said, I just love the way Mandy Patinkin played that scene. And it was my favorite scene in the entire movie.
I love the end of the fight. Go ahead, Benny.
I was gonna say I love after Andre the Giant knocks down the door and he goes back to Wesley and just he's looking around like the John Travolta look around.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I was gonna say I love at the end of the fight when he's clearly won Inigo, and he's just like, offer me anything, and he's just like, I want my father back, you son of a bitch. Just fucking
yeah,
that's a good one.
Such a good line. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Or maybe it's my illness. I don't know.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both. I'm sweating my ass off and then I'm freezing. It's so annoying because I keep having to like turn the AC on, put on sweatpants, like fucking give me a break.
That's a shitty feeling.
Yeah, it stinks. But Benny, what was your favorite scene?
All right, so I'm in a spot now because I thought Robbie was going to take one of mine, so I wanted to go with a backup, but I'm going to go with the duel between Wesley and Inigo Montoya. I love the whole build up to it when he's climbing up the ledge and just that little parlay that they have. Um, I love that. I love that the conversation they have before they fight. I love all the witty stuff they say to each other during the fight. It was fun, and it was a battle of wits as much as it was an actual sword battle, which I'm partial to a sword battle. They could have used a little bit of work on the form, I think, but what can you do? They're not Tom Cruise, and they're gonna study for 400 years before they actually do the scene. But it was fun, and I liked it, and I just loved the mutual respect that they had for each other. Even though all the knockout blows to the head were so cheesy in this movie, but
Yeah, it was.
no, yeah, I just love that that first bit of backstory you get with Inigo. I love that after Carrie Ewells leaves in the beginning, you find out he died. I was kind of like, I kind of wish he stuck around, and just how obvious it is that it's him with that shitty little mustache on his lip, and you're like, oh, nice, he's back. And then you get those two; they had good chemistry together, so it was just a very cool and fun scene.
Elwes.
Elwes,
Yeah.
Elwes,
Ewells
Carrie
or whatever.
Elwes.
John Elwes.
John Elway.
No, that was a great scene, Benny. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was very, very cool build up. I like a little playfulness between them too.
And it's funny you mentioned the knockout hits. The one where Count Rundgren hits Carrie Elwes. Carrie told him to actually hit him. He hit him too hard. He had to go to the hospital, and they had to shut down shooting.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he knocked him out, I think, right?
Yeah.
Poor
so
guy.
good. Man, I think I'm gonna pick, I guess, two, and I'm gonna go with one official and one Ani Mensch, but I probably have a million Ani Menches. My first, and I know it's a long scene, and part of it is part of what Benny said, but the entire chase of Wesley to the princess and just going through all the like the different levels, and then getting to the boss. Like you said, the duel was amazing. Everything the repartee between them, you seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you. I hate to die. That was such a good line.
Yeah.
And then going up against Andre the Giant, so good. Who I feel like we haven't mentioned enough yet, but he was just, was he the best actor I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But he was perfect in this role. So him, throwing rocks, and I didn't have to miss. And then
I don't
going
even
up
exercise.
yeah, right. And then I know Robbie hates it, but I love the battle of wits, the back and forth, and the dizzying intellect of Vicini. And then when they reunite, and I thought it was kind of stupid that she didn't realize him with the mask, and that I will always think that like a half mask on someone's face is not your true love. You can't tell their mouth or their eyes or their body or anything. Like, come on. But that whole big piece, I know it's more than one scene, but that's my favorite, for sure. And then Ani Mensch, I gotta mention fucking Miracle Max, Billy Crystal, and that whole scene. Just look who knows so much. So many good things. I mentioned it already. The MLT, with the nice and lean. And then even Carol Kane, who's awesome as his wife, liar, just coming screaming like a maniac. And then the whole bye boys, have fun storming the castle.
Billy Crystal's so fucking good. I love him, man.
He's
great.
fucking funny.
He is. I don't care.
Just the way he
says.
says things sometimes when they're like, and don't swim for an hour. Yeah, an hour. Just the way he says things is so funny to me. I love it. So those are mine. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any Ani Mentions you want to mention.
Yeah, I have an Ani Mensch for sure, and it's just the whole last third of the film when Carrie Elways is paralyzed.
Yeah.
Just all of his movements that he does are so funny. I loved when they were up on the battlement and they were all standing up at the last part when they were making the plan, and he would say something, his head would just fall down or would fall back, and then Andre the Giant was moving his head around.
Yeah.
Just the way he played that, man, it's just that Weekend at Bernie's vibe. I just loved it. And his thumb is like twitching, and he's like, "Oh, your thumb is moving." It's like, "Yeah, I'm a fast healer. I've always been a fast healer."
Yeah.
But
And I love Andre's reaction. It's like, doesn't that make you happy?
yeah. So I loved that whole part of the movie because it was just such a funny concept, and they pulled it off.
I think I want to change my favorite character to Andre the Giant. He's so fucking good in this movie. Everything he says is funny. Everything.
He is good in this movie. I couldn't understand some of the things he was saying, but his hands is tremendous.
His head is huge. Do you see how big his head was compared to Carrie's? It's crazy.
Humongous.
Do you know that Robbie mentioned that documentary about Andre the Giant? They talked about this movie, like his body was like so broken down at that point, where like anytime he had to hold someone in his arms, like obviously he could do it because he was such a strong dude, but at that point he just couldn't do it anymore. His knees and his back, that they had to like have them all on wires and like just like place them in his arms. So it's kind of sad when you find that out.
I know, but I'm happy he was in this. Like, so good. Anybody want a peanut?
Young Biggie Smalls there.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh my God. So now here's where we try to improve upon this film. And first, overall, how could we have made this film better? Who wants to start? Robbie,
I'll
it
start,
just eliminate Vicini?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Benny.
Yeah, just because I already kind of mentioned it already, but it was the fire swamp scene for me. I would have found another way to get that story across. But, I feel like the fire swamp is like, it's that trope in fantasy movies where there's always like that one area that the heroes have to survive and find their way through. So I understand why it was in there. But, again, this is looking at through 2023 eyes when I was like, it's kind of tacky and corny. But I'm sure at the time it wasn't so bad. But that's the one scene I would have changed.
Right. It's kind of like like you said, a lot of fantasy, stories always have that first like challenge. And like the fire swamp was like kind of that with like some kind of like low level bad guy, like in like Lord of the Rings, like the Barrow Wights or something like that. Like, something like that. And that's what the fire swamp is.
Oh yes, the Barrel Whites. I remember.
Shut.
But I remember them. I remember them in Lord of the Rings. One of my favorites.
I'm sorry. It's like when you go to the NFC Championship game and lose, but then you win the Super Bowl the next year. So it's your first, big challenge.
Thank you. Now you speak in my terms. Now I get it.
Now I get it. Robbie, how would you make this film better?
I would have to agree with Benny. I thought the fire swamp scene was a little dated. I get it. It's the 80s, I understand. But the rodent thing was kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, this is kind of gross. I was like, this is like just I didn't know the correct term to use, but a person who's kind of short in a rat suit. It was just dumb. I don't know. We maybe cut that out, that entire scene out, and I could do without it. I get it, but it was a little too cheesy and corny for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna agree with you guys. Like the dialogue during that scene was important. Like finding out like how Wesley became the Dread Pirate Roberts. He took over from Ryan. But they could have done it, like some other way or something like that. So I'm gonna agree with you guys and say maybe the fire swamp could have just been like the walking path that they took or something.
The fire path.
Yeah, right. Something else. But I think just like every other movie, it can always be made better with a simple recasting and a certain actor, a young Matt Damon, filling in a certain role. So I think I'll start because I
Yes.
think you guys have started a few of the ones. So I would cast a handsome, virile, just smiling Matt Damon in the role of Wesley. Carrie
Wow.
Ellis was fantastic, but I'd love to see this movie with Matt Damon in that title role and see what he could do with it. Um, I actually think he would be better than if it was any of the minor or not minor, but like supporting characters or minor roles
Well, wait,
because he's too
wait till you
handsome.
get to my pick then.
I mean, I hope
I'm
you're
gonna
probably
change
gonna
your
blow
mind.
my bees off. Well, why don't you go then?
All right. I'm gonna cast a young, virile, firing on all cylinders, Matt Damon as the albino.
Oh,
Think about what a good cameo that would have been.
that would have
If
been perfect.
out of nowhere, Matt Damon shows up and he's this just dilapidated man, and
The pit of
he would have
despair.
he would have delivered those lines amazing, and I guarantee you we'd be looking at a spin-off series, probably a trilogy of movies with Matt Damon as the albino. So give me Matt Damon as the albino.
Robin.
If you had Matt Damon as Wesley, you needed a fucking defibrillator in my house because my heart would have stopped with all that good lookingness.
I know that's why I picked him because of you.
Thank you. Well, to nobody's surprise, who I would cast in this movie with the young Matt Damon, handsome, studly, smart.
Not annoying.
Please give me Matt Damon as Vicini.
Oh,
Imagine Matt Damon, a young Matt Damon as Vicini, steering that shit, get into a battle of wits with Wesley, just making sure that he doesn't do anything stupid, say anything stupid, like stupid words like inconceivable over and over again. So yeah, give me young Matt Damon as Vicini. I think it would have been nice to see him and Carrie Elwes to you know, have a little battle of wits. And you need a handsome sea captain. You can't have that little freaking runt with the side piece hair. You can't have him just fucking thinking he's the tough guy. Nobody's believing that. Nobody wanted to believe that at all. Matt Damon in there, young. I'm sure he would have got dedicated. He would have, shaved part of his head off. And just give me Matt Damon as Vicini, please.
do you
Get
think
Vicini
that?
far away from me.
Do you think that if he was Vicini, that Wesley might have lost the battle of wits?
Yeah, Wesley would have been dead without a doubt.
Wesley would have walked up to him and there had been a huge chalkboard with just one single equation on it.
Yeah.
And he would be like, "Hey Wesley, do you know how easy this is for me?"
And would have burned the wine in front of him.
Yeah. You poisoned both cups. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, right. You know what? One thing I didn't that I thought was always stupid was all right, the Battle of Wits, Wesley uses iocane powder, which is fake, but he tells us that it is tasteless, odorless, and colorless, or whatever he says. But the odorless is the important part. Fucking Humperdinck rolls up and is sniffing the wine cups and is like iocane powder. I knew it. You can't. It's odorless. How can you fucking tell?
Maybe he smelled that there was no smell, so he inferred. Huh?
All right.
Rob Reiner, call me. Call me.
Yeah,
Rob,
so you're a smart boy.
yeah. You share namesake with one of our hosts, please call us up.
Yes. He was in your favorite show, Ryan, All in the Family.
That's right. Meathead.
Yep.
Oh man. I feel like there's so many little things that I wanted to say like leading up to this, and I didn't say like so many of them. Cause like every scene I love except for like a few minor things here and there.
Well, you got any more Ani mentions you want to throw out? I mean, if you, I can filibuster and talk about Peter Falk for a few minutes while you think about it.
No, I mean, just like you said, I think in your like pre notion, like, you know, what you thought of the movie before, like how so many of these lines have just been in the zeitgeist for like so long in our culture, or like, you know, different movies, shows, people just saying things. Um, and like, I love that it is. And my favorite is when things from movies or shows get quoted by other people and it just becomes like part of our language and people don't even know where it's from necessarily. Like, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of lines from this movie that I think that's happened with.
Yeah, I think, you know, the one right off the bat is the Inigo Montoya, you know, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Because that I remember, it's funny because in I'm gonna go on a Mets tangent here, but in
Please.
2015, the Mets are in the playoffs and their shortstop's leg got
What?
broken. Yeah.
The Mets were in the playoffs.
Trust me, it was a rare occurrence.
That's
I
crazy.
forgive you if you don't remember this. But the dirtiest motherfucker in the league, Chase Utley, broke our shortstop's leg. And I remember just memes popping up all over the Mets Reddit. And it was, you know, the guy that was going to come in and play shortstop now. And it was, hello, my name is Wilmer Flores. You hurt my shortstop. Prepare to die. I always love that. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's funny to have the context of it now, because I think I have that either posted on my Instagram, not knowing the context, or, you know, I have it saved on my phone somewhere. So it's definitely something that's, you know, there's even the, I do not think you know what that means. You keep saying that word, but I don't think you know what it means. Yeah. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff in this that, yeah, even I said that the love, true love. That's in there too. So
is why we are here today. I love that. Yeah, no, I mean, Ani Menches is the rest of the movie because it's all good.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to mention or talk about when it comes to this movie?
I did want to make sure that we brought up all the Andre the Giant stuff, because like you, Ryan, I thought I don't know why, like, we've talked so many times about bad actors and how they like spoil stuff. And obviously Andre wasn't a great, you know, actor, but for some reason, he was so, yeah, he was so endearing and like, just like fun. And, you know, he got to throw a couple fake punches in there. So he got to use his wrestling experience. I thought when he got choked out and then Wesley rolled him over, I thought he was going to go for the pin.
Yeah.
And
Vicini slides in, giving him the count.
Comes running in. It was. I hate the hate that Vicini got from Robbie, but I do love that we have differing opinions on these kinds of things. That makes for fun podcast. Yeah, it's just like I said before, it's just fun watching. In a way, it's almost sad that like I'm now finally learning all these things that I didn't have the context to. It's like a part of me is dying off, where I'm like that hipster's like, nah, I don't watch that, or I haven't seen that. So now I'm just becoming another mainstream Joe over here.
That's right. That's what happens to all of us. We all become fucking lame and mainstream and like all the same shit. We're just homogenous. But I asked you guys a question in the chat, or in the group chat, and I mentioned it quickly before, but this is one of my favorite like sick movies. You know, the movie that you don't feel good, whether it's because you're ill or you just had a bad day or whatever, and you just need that like comfort movie. And this is one of them for me. And I know you guys had mentioned a couple if you want to talk about those, but I also wanted to get, if anyone's still listening, send us an email. Let us know what your like sick or comfort movie is, because for some of you it's probably this one, but you guys had a couple if you want to share those.
Rob, you want to go first?
Yeah, I said Wolf of Wall Street. I love Wolf of Wall Street. It's a good one. I mean, it's so fucking good. It's funny. It's crazy. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Some of the things that he does. but it's my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performance. He's just unreal, knocks it out of the park. He's A plus 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 plus. Scorsese, I just love that movie, man. Social Network, probably one of my favorite, definitely in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. Like we were talking about yesterday, Ryan. The score in that movie by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are just unbelievable. Finch is directing it. Sorkin just writing gems. I love Jesse Eisenberg in that movie, as well as Andrew Garfield, who I think is the star of that movie.
Agree.
Everything about the movie I love. I can watch that movie every single day for the rest of my life. I think I never get bored of it. Ocean's 11, I think it's great. I love that Brad Pitt is eating in every single scene that he's in, and it's got a ton of great people in that movie that I love. And I forgot what else I said, but there is just I have to think sometimes too as well.
Yeah, of course.
Some comedies. Probably Hitch. I like Hitch. Hitch is a nice
a
little
good one.
underrated fucking. I really do love
I
Hitch.
love Hitch. No, me
Yeah,
too.
Hitch would be something I would
Even
go
though
back to time and time
he
again.
stinks, but still
Yeah.
love the movie.
Hitch is great. Love that. And Kevin James is great in that movie as well.
Yeah. Did you have like as a kid? Did you have like something that you always wanted to watch that you can remember? I mean, obviously, Price is Right is big on that list because you stay home from school and whatever. But did you have like a movie, maybe not a kid, but like teenager or whatever? Anything stick out to you?
Probably Goonies on VHS.
That's a good one.
Love Goonies.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what else. Usually I would just get some video games and go to
Yeah.
Blockbuster and maybe get like whatever wrestling pay-per-view they had out at the time.
Yeah.
And they just
I really miss Blockbuster.
the experience of just going there and the anxiousness of seeing if your tape is there or your video game is there and then not. You're like, what the fuck am I gonna get now?
Yeah. And then walking around trying to figure it out. And then you go to the side where all the returns were and see if they're in there.
Yeah. And you ask the guy and he can give a shit.
Yeah.
Nah, you know. Yeah.
So good. What about you, Benny? Any specifics? I mean, I know you said a couple.
Well, allow me to tangent again here and say that the number one thing I watched, I think, as a kid, and it was always when I stayed home from school, and it was probably every day for like 2 years straight, was 1986 Mets, A Year to Remember, the championship date. I probably wore that thing out, watched it a billion times.
Oh my God.
And probably I found it on YouTube and I watched it recently again and still quote almost every line from it. But as far as movies go, it was like when I was super young, it was Lion King. I think I watched Lion King about 1.5 trillion times. As I got a little bit older, it was Liar Liar.
Nice.
I mentioned that in the chat. I watched that movie so many times. As far as like serious movies goes, it was Blow for a long time. I've seen that movie a ton, and Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, it's a good one.
That was always a fun one to just throw on. And Ryan, we talk about the come up. What a come up in that movie! There's so much fun, like starting off. So yeah, that's definitely one that I've worn out.
Agree. That's a good one. I love that one too. But yeah, share. Let us know, and if it's something that most of us haven't seen, maybe we'll watch it. And Price is Right doesn't count because that's not a movie. And also something else I used to love to watch that's not a movie, Joy of Painting with Bob Ross when I was homesick.
It's a good one.
Unbelievable.
Bless you.
Thank you. It would put me right to sleep for a midday nap. My favorite.
But to tie it in too, like I remember during the summer a lot, or days I had off when my grandma used to live with us, we watched Columbo all the time. Columbo and Murder, She Wrote. I think they were like back to back on A&E all the time. So we watched a ton of that. And she loved Diagnosis Murder too. You ever see that show?
I've seen
Who was that with?
I think is it Dick Van Dyke? I think it's
probably is Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, speaking of that, my grandmother, man, my grandma Ducks, it was just Golden Girls, Murder, She Wrote, fucking Matlock, just a murderer's row of things we used to watch.
Yeah, Diagnosis Murder was Dick Van Dyke. So shout out Dick Van Dyke.
And shout out Dick Van Dyke. Now that like there's like the kind of joke now where like people just want to watch like murder documentaries. people are like our parents and grandparents, all they wanted to watch was murder like series. So like
Yeah.
everyone's just been obsessed with murder like forever. It's just documentaries now instead of
Yeah.
Columbo or Diagnosis Murder.
I think if I was sick and like for a long period of time, I would run through Triple D.
Oh yeah, that's
Such a
good
great
one.
show.
It's such a great. It never gets old, that show, except for his stupid fucking son Ryder. I can't stand that little prick.
So good. Well, again, if you have any sick movies, shows, whatever, things that you love or comfort movies, please let us know. LTBW podcast at gmail.com. And let us know how we did with The Princess Bride. What did we miss? What did we get right? What are your favorite lines? Anything. We love hearing from you guys. And thanks again to Brian and Kenny. You guys have anything else you want to say about Princess Bride or any of the other tangents we went on today?
I've gotten it all out of my system.
Yeah, I think so.
Me too. I have one tangent.
Please.
Just please vote. It's so easy.
It's so
It's
easy.
so easy.
It's
I know
this.
it's so easy. I know some people are doing it out of spite. I know others don't know what they're doing. Just vote. It's so easy. Please. Hey, vote. Because Clueless would have won. And I wouldn't have to sit through Vicini's bullshit for fucking half an hour.
Yeah, but you got to watch a movie you never saw before, and it was pretty good.
That's true. You're right. All right, I'm sorry. Don't
No,
vote.
that's okay.
It takes more
rock the vote.
effort to look at the story and decide not to vote than
yeah,
it does to just vote.
that's
So
true.
vote.
Yeah,
So, like I always say, friends helping friends.
that's right. Well, thank you. There'll be a new vote up this week. We'll have to decide on what we're gonna watch. And if you don't vote, Robbie's gonna come to your house and get you.
Super kick you right through the barbershop window.
Oh man. Oh man, a formative memory in my life.
One of the greatest.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed. I guess that's it. Tell him good night, Robbie.
Good night, Miracle Max. You rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles.
Oh, good one.
I don't have anything witty to say this time.
Am I going mad?
Inconceivable.
Stop it. Stop it right now.